Or not?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 436 of Hump Day Hangouts. It is the 22nd of March, 2023. Got the guys here. We're going to run through, do some hellos, say hi, find out what the weather is around the world like we always do. And then we've got a couple of quick announcements, and then we're going to jump into your questions. So if you're joining us and were watching last week, we appreciate it. We had some technical difficulties, so we appreciate everyone that made it to the live recording. And if you weren't there, then nothing happened. No, I appreciate you watching on YouTube. If you're watching live, say hello, let us know what's going on. Let us know that you're here. We love it. If you're catching the recording, that's cool too. We understand this may not work for you all the time. But if you can join us live, because that way, if we need some clarification to the question or we have a follow-up and you're right there, that of course helps us answer your questions. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We love it. Also, it lets you know when we post new content, obviously the Hump Day Hangouts, but then we chop up the videos as well, so you can get notified when there's new good stuff out there, as well as some additional goodies. So with that out of the way, I'm going to say hello to Chris. How are you doing, man?
Doing good. You wanted to know how the weather is?
Yeah.
Good question, man. Like today was actually the first time that I was out just in t-shirts. It's really warm. Spring is definitely here. So super happy about that. And obviously I hit the gym as usual.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, it was nice here. We've had 2 days of almost 60 Fahrenheit weather. Which I'm in the Northeast, I'm in upstate New York, and that's just been mind-blowing. So it was nice. Went out for a run before meetings this afternoon and had a good time. It's still muddy and kind of nasty, but it's better than being icy and tons of snow. So I'll take it. Bradley, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Busy as all hell, but it's been a good day. So
I've got a really important question for you today. If I wanted to see you on Twitch, how would I do that? I just figured I'd get
come on.
That's what you call a preemptive strike.
There we go. Just kidding. If anybody wants to see Bradley streaming on Twitch as he's going about his stuff, doing the testing, all the cool stuff he does on Twitch in the mornings, head to twitch.tv/Bradley Benner. Correct? All right. Easy.
Yeah.
How many more episodes till he switches to OnlyFans?
We'll have to see. Grow the audience first and then switch to the paid content. Yeah.
I watched some Netflix documentary recently called Money Shot. And it was about Pornhub's rise to like fame and it's just kind of the rise and fall of or whatever. And they were talking about OnlyFans. So now I understand what OnlyFans is. I never knew what the fuck it was until I watched this Netflix documentary just last week called The Money Shot or something like that. Anyway, now I know what it is. So I get the jokes now.
You could have just Googled it, man.
Well, I was afraid to, because I don't want that kind of history on my fucking
Sure. No, I watched part of that too. I was discussing it with somebody else, and they were asking if they got into the SEO side of it, because the guy was into affiliate stuff way back when. And I was like, not the first half, not a lot, but they talked about, how they did it. And I didn't realize how many sites they owned and how they're owned by MindGeek and then how all that worked. And I knew they, aggregated websites and all that, but that is quite the enterprise. And then all the personal stuff that went on behind the scenes is of course crazy. So
yeah, I thought it was really cool. But you're right. He really grew the shit out. The original guy that created it grew the hell out of it through SEO.
Yeah.
That's how Pornhub became the number one porn site is through SEO, which is that's amazing, So yeah. It was really
where
cool.
There's a will, there's a way.
Get back to black cat hole.
To kind of get it back onto topic. So in the mornings for this week, I'm working on Backlink Factory because I picked that up a few weeks ago. Well, I've had it for damn near 2 years and I never used it. I started using it and just started testing with it, starting to learn how to use it yesterday, actually. And so it'll probably be a week and a half of just testing with it every day and trying to figure out the best way to use it and develop it out. But I know some people have asked, even some of the people on Twitch this morning were like, man, I'm glad you're doing this because I've been struggling with how to figure out how to use it. Well, so am I. I don't know what to do with it yet. I mean, I'm learning and I'm going to figure it out, but it's going to take time. So it might be boring in the mornings for the next few days because I've got to kind of fumble my way through it and learn how to use it. But that's precisely why I have that time set up in the morning, so I can do these kind of things. So
bullshit. Literally, you gotta watch it because that's pretty much the only times you will see Bradley for free in the trenches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and cussing a lot because I get so frustrated in the mornings. But that's how I work through things, and that's just to be clear. Like I verbalize my anger and frustration, and it just helps me not have a heart attack from too much stress. You know what I mean? So
fair enough. Well, I wanted to mention something, Bradley. You got a webinar coming up on Monday, right, with Patrick Shannon, the founder of LeadSnap. You mind telling people a little bit about LeadSnap?
yeah, well, first I'll talk about Patrick. He's a great guy. I met him a couple of years ago now, about a year and a half ago, maybe, via Zoom meeting through one of our mastermind members, Harry, who actually made the introduction. It was a really good introduction. Patrick's a really good guy. So I've had a chance to chat with him several times over the last year and a half. And then we got to meet in person at the SEO at the Beach event a few weeks ago. And so I got to spend quite a bit of time with him then. He got to know him a lot more, and just a really good guy. He's got a really good several really good businesses, and he built LeadSnap, which is like a CRM for lead generation and local SEO. There's one, I want to make a comparison to High Level, but it's not High Level. Okay. High Level is a marketing automation platform that is like a Swiss Army knife for marketers. Okay. So it can do a million and one things. But because of its versatility, that is also a drawback because it's overly complex, right? That its versatility is its complexity. So therefore, it can be difficult to use. I know I have a love-hate relationship with High Level. I love it when it works, but I hate it anytime I got to program something new, because it literally takes me 2 days to do anything in High Level because it's so much trial and error. So that is to say, LeadSnap is a alternative to that is specifically for local SEO and lead generation. And very, very powerful. If I wasn't so intimately involved with High Level, with all of the sub accounts that I have for clients and everything else, I would make the switch to LeadSnap for sure. So that said, I am not a user of LeadSnap only because of what I just described. Patrick was gracious enough to say that his development team would help me to disentangle from High Level if I want to move into LeadSnap. I'm not sure that that's that I want to take a bite from that apple just yet, though, because that's going to be quite an undertaking, and I'm not sure that I want to deal with that currently. But that said, I definitely want to bring Patrick on next week to talk about LeadSnap. It's a great app. I've had it demoed to me a couple of times now, and I think it would be very valuable for a lot of our audience. For those of you that have not pulled the trigger on High Level already, this is an alternative option that is more suited with less programming requirements, a hell of a lot less programming requirements. So again, if it's something that you guys are interested in, if you're doing lead gen or local SEO, I would encourage you to check out the webinar that we're going to do with Patrick Shannon next week.
Very nice. Let's see, just posted and pasted, I guess, trying to say 2 words at the same time. Just pasted the link into chat. We'll also be sending out some emails if you're on the Semantic Mastery email list, as well as a Facebook group. If you're not, go to semanticmastery.com, get on the email list, you get notified and invited to stuff like this. Let's see, I had a couple updates about the mastermind, the move. We told everybody we moved over to Circle. That's been going really well, really good feedback on that. How about you guys? I mean, I kind of like talking about what we're doing. I love it.
I like it a lot.
I love it.
The interface is better. Categorization of comments is so much better. There's topical categories in there. I really like it. I'm trying to, if you noticed, Adam, I'm trying to push people from the Facebook group
we're trying to gently push people to finish the transition. Yeah, everybody who's in the Facebook, like, okay, it's winding down. You got to get over there.
I tried to gently nudge them first, but then when people were commenting on the thread in Facebook, and they clearly hadn't clicked through to what I was trying to get them to click through to, that's when I had to be a little bit more aggressive about it. So,
oh man, but yeah, it's working out great for the mastermind. So if you're doing local SEO, which if you're watching us, I hope to God you are. I don't know what else you would be doing here, but if you're a consultant, if you're an agency owner, of course, the mastermind would probably be the best place for you. Find out more about that at mastermind.semanticmastery.com. Other than that, just wanted to mention POFU Live. We will be having our, wow, I need to write this down. Is this going to be number 5, you guys? Or 6?
5 or 6.
It's always 6.
Okay.
5 or 6, yeah. It's 2019.
I don't know,
Started in 2019, right?
We
So
gotta
this
count the
would be
coins.
That was
man.
like 2017. Oh my God, this is awful. Anyways, we're going to be having POFU live this year, and we're going to be doing it live and in person. We're going to be meeting up in Boston the last weekend of September. We're getting all of the nitty-gritty details together, but we've got that nailed down, and we will be having early bird access to tickets probably in mid to late May. And then after that, prices will go up. We really love it when people get tickets early, helps us plan. And when, as a thank you, we give you that early bird discount. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Would love to see you join us, and a bunch of great speakers in Boston at the last weekend of September 2023.
And for the super VIP people, was it the highest? Is this the highest tier? VIP or super VIP?
Yeah, whatever. We can just call it super VIP. That's fine.
Yeah, like the top one, they might get like a special surprise. Like
Yeah, we got some fun stuff planned.
Sweet. Oh,
right.
one more thing.
Yeah.
PBN command, local.
Yes, sir.
PBN command.
okay.
That was, are we going to pitch that or no?
I guess so. Yeah. No, what I'm going to do is actually take your video from last week, Bradley, and I want to send that out to people because I think that was a better explanation than just kind of writing it out and telling people. But I mean, mention it again, because obviously we know not everybody can watch Hump Day Hangouts all the time. So I'm sure there's some people watching who didn't get a chance to.
Okay, so local PBN command is what Adam named it. It's about building local PBNs, a very specific way that I found through just analyzing hundreds and hundreds, that's not a joke, of keywords and local keywords and backlink analysis for the top ranked competitors for hundreds of different keywords over the course of the entire year last year. I found that most of the time the links that, or the companies that are ranking the Maps 3-pack, they a lot of the times have a very poor backlink profile that isn't very relevant. Top ranked organic competitors almost always, not 100% of the time, but almost always have the top ranked competitors in organic search below the Maps pack have a relevant backlink profile, meaning it's in the appropriate kind of topical categories, topical relevance. So they have a relevant backlink profile that's topically relevant. Okay. But a lot of the times the top ranked businesses in the Maps 3-pack, so in Google Maps, don't. They have a very poor link profile as far as topical relevance is concerned. But in analyzing why, so why are they right now? Of course, there's different signals. There's different things that you need to do for, to rank in organic that you would do. And there's certainly a little bit of overlap, but it's not a lot. There's not a lot of overlap. And so that's why you can see often Google business profiles ranking that have no organic presence at all. Or you'll see organic sites ranking in organic search that have no Google Maps presence or very poor Google Maps presence. And that's because they're two different things, right? There is a little bit of overlap, but not much. And so what I found was topically relevant links really matter for organic ranking and has a slight influence on Maps ranking for local projects. But what I found has the biggest effect for ranking in Maps is if you can get backlinks from sources that are locally or geographically relevant, meaning getting links from other local businesses in the same general area or from other entities in the same local area, the same general physical area. So I've talked about this before, but there's ways you can do that, more traditional ways, like getting links from local chamber of commerce, local news and media sites and event sites, sponsoring little league teams, parks and recs teams, charities, schools, all of that kind of stuff, getting, sponsoring them off. You generally get a link back to your website, and that's a link from a local entity. So it's a very powerful link. You can also do link exchanges by doing meetups or BNI groups and things like that, where you do lead exchange groups. You can exchange links with other companies, other businesses in the same general area. That's all very powerful. Topical relevance doesn't matter from those links. What matters is their geographic relevance. And so I found ways to do that where you don't need to go do all the traditional things that I just mentioned. You can just go hunt down domains that have expired that have backlinks already pointing to them from other local entities in the same area that you need the links for. And then I created a training program on how, and by the way, the training program that I developed was for my VA. That was an internal training program that I developed to teach my team member on how to build them so that I don't have to do it anymore. And all I did was just made it. I didn't put any sensitive login data in the training videos like I normally do for my team members, specifically so that I could just share with you guys the training exactly as I do it for my team. So that there's no question as to, like, you know, in the past, every time I would create training or an SOP, I generally would do it for my team first. And then I would have to recreate everything a second time and, make sure there was none of the sensitive data that is proprietary or specific to my clients' businesses and stuff in the training. So I used to have to duplicate everything that I would do twice, once for my team and then once for Semantic Mastery members. I got smart recently and realized that was like, from now on, I'm just going to do all my training like I do to my team. I'm just going to keep the sensitive data out of it. That way I don't have to duplicate the training every time. I just do it one time. It goes to my team. They'll get an external document with all the login details that they need. And then everybody else at Semantic Mastery or whatever can access the training as I teach my team. I just feel it's more efficient way for sure. So anyways, that's what it is. It's a training program. It's $300, but it's totally worth it, guys. If you're doing local SEO, this is one of the best ways that you can get maps movement very, very quickly. And I do want to recommend one other thing. I recommend striking a balance between both organic and maps, because for years, all I cared about was maps ranking. And then 2 years ago, I had about 3 dozen Google business assets and the lead gen assets that were in the tree service industry got kind of hit. They didn't get suspended, but they just tanked in rankings. And all of or a big part of my lead gen money dried up overnight, just like that. And it was gone. And that was a little over 2 years ago, or about 2.5 years ago now. Anyway, that's when I really started to, that's when I realized that putting all of your eggs in one basket, like the Google business basket, is not a good idea. If I had been maintaining organic rankings, then even though I had lost a lot, or the Google business profiles had dropped, I would have still been producing leads through organic results. So granted, there's not nearly as many leads are generated through organic as it is through maps. That's a given, but it still would have been some leads versus none because we had dropped so much. So, I mean, fortunately, I was able to recover most of those locations, but it took a long time. So now I always recommend doing a balance between organic ranking and maps ranking for local projects. You want to be those types, or you want your assets or your clients' assets to be the types of companies that are ranking in both maps and organic. That makes sense. That's where you really want to be. So, there are a number of things you can do for organic ranking. I've been talking about that for over a year now. But as far as maps ranking goes, like local links or links with geographic relevance, really, really has an effect. So I would encourage you guys to check it out. Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right on. Hey, Ganty Murty, what's up, man? Ganty just commented. I haven't seen or heard from Ganty in a long time. What's up, man? I hope you're all right. Long time, buddy. Anyway, let me grab the screen. Back in lead gadget days. Ganty. That was a long minute. So. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead.
Oh, good.
Okay, you all right over there, Chris?
Yeah, schema.
Okay. Yeah, the first question was about schema, so I saw it earlier. So our first one's from Earl. He says, what's the best type of schema we can apply to a best list affiliate blog post? Checked product schema, but that's for individual products or e-commerce sites. Wondering what's best way to go already have auto-generated blog posting article schema and an FAQ that's marked up, but wondering what else I can do on page before moving to links. So I didn't read the full question apparently, but I was going to say, like, web page schema is pretty generic. Excuse me. That would be this one. That's kind of like a catch-all that can be used for anything. I think a more appropriate one would be article schema. I know there's a blog posting schema, which it sounds like you did already, which is similar to article schema. Generally, this is going to be typically a more, at least from my understanding, a more kind of thorough type of article than like a pillar page or something like that. Pillar content is another term for that, right? And according to this definition, it says that such as a news article or a piece of investigative reporting. So blog posting might actually be more appropriate. I've used article markup schema for like long form content articles, so in-depth articles and things like that. So, and then I talked about review schema, right? There's review schema. I know there's product schema, but there's review schema that is a review of an item. for example, a restaurant, a movie, or a store, or so you can actually mark up, use review schema, I believe, to review affiliate products, as far as I know. I don't do affiliate SEO, guys, so I'm not the best person to answer this. I'm trying to help. But like I said, all I did is just went to Wikipedia, or excuse me, Google, and I searched a few different schema types that I would think would be appropriate. But again, probably better to go ask in an affiliate group somewhere that does a lot of affiliate SEO what the best kind of markup is for that. I don't know. I'm just giving you some kind of pointers. Again, review schema could potentially work. Web page is kind of a catch-all. Article is more for in-depth articles. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. David says, how would you approach link building for location and service pages for local sites? I already built out the gsite, Google Business Posts, citations, and social profiles, but location pages are on page 2. Looking to work out a way I can keep powering these up each month for my local clients. Okay, so I've talked a lot about this recently in the mastermind, but you know, there's kind of 2 different ways to build internal linking structure in a site. For most of my local SEO career, or my SEO career, whatever you want to call it, I've done a bottom-up approach in internal linking. And there's a very specific reason why I've done that for all these years until recently, which I've switched to what I call a top-down approach. So there's the bottom-up approach and the top-down approach in the way that you do your internal linking in a site. So if you're building a site with silo structure, then again, I'm not going to go, guys, this is Hump Day Hangouts. This is kind of stuff that I go into with diagrams and draw that shit out and snag it and all that stuff in mastermind webinars. But when you're dealing with a silo structure, when I talk about a bottom-up approach, that would be like publish, and this is why I started doing the bottom-up approach, was because many years ago, like back in 2011, when I got first introduced to IFTTT through a WSO, some of you know what I'm talking about, Warrior Special Offer. It was a PDF by David Kosick. It was like $7, and it was called Link Automatic or something like that. And it was basically, it introduced me to IFTTT way the fuck back then. I mean, way back then. And you took that $7 PDF and I created what is now Syndication Academy. At the time, it wasn't a product. It was just what I used in my own local SEO. This is before Semantic Mastery, everything else, before I even met these guys. And I built IFTTT syndication networks using Web 2.0 properties. And it would work like gangbusters for local SEO. Like all I had to do was build a syndication network, Web 2.0 profiles, connect them to my RSS feed for my clients' money sites. Just take my clients' RSS feeds, plug them in IFTTT, and then all I would do is publish content on their blog, their money site blog, keyword optimized content, targeting, you know, the different keywords and locations and such. That content would then syndicate out the posts, right? So here's the thing, and this is what we teach in Syndication Academy still, even though it's not really much about syndication anymore. The post that we would publish would have an internal link that would be pointing up to the pages, the landing pages on the site that we would want to rank. So those are the location or the lead gen landing pages, right? So the usually top level product or service pages. So the blog posts were supporting articles within a particular silo that would link up to the top of silo page. And by doing that, by publishing content, blog content, syndicating out across syndication network with an internal link in the content pointing up to the page that I wanted to rank, then it would automatically create backlinks, social signals, and bookmarks directly to the post. Yes, but since it was a republished post on all these different sites, the internal link within the post body of the original post was still present. So I would get automatic backlinks not only to the original post through the attribution link that we would code into the bottom of, well, at the time in the RSS feeds, it was code, you know, you could code attribution into the feed output. You still can with some, but you can also code that into the IFTTT. It used to be called recipe, but now it's an applet. Anyway, all I'm saying is you would get an attribution link that links to the original source. So that would be a link directly to the blog post itself, the blog post URL. But then you would also have the internal link from within the post body of the blog post. They would link up to the top level, the top of silo page, which is what you really want to rank, right? And so doing that would be automatic backlinks, bookmarks, and social signals to both the blog post and to the money site page that I wanted to rank. Okay. And so that's why I always called that a bottom-up approach, is because we're going down to the lowest level, the longest tail keywords. That's what the blog post would be optimized for, that we would publish on the money site blog. Supporting keywords, long tail supporting keywords that would support the top level term that the top of silo page was optimized for. Okay. You understand all that? So I have spent, and that's all I would do for the first, I don't know, 3 years, from like 2011 till about 2014. That was damn near all I had to do. Create syndication networks and then just start blogging on my clients' sites. And it would just, boom, we would rank all day long. And it was beautiful. And so eventually in 2014, Semantic Mastery formed. We ended up launching what was called IFTTT SEO. And then we got a cease and desist order from the attorneys at IFTTT that said, stop using our name. So we changed it to Syndication Academy. But the reason I bring that up is because the bottom-up approach was always targeting the long tail keywords and starting to build links from those, right? In hopes that we could flow link equity and relevance and build it up to the top level term, right? So you understand, a bottom-up approach is always starting at the lowest level, the longest tail keywords, right? The low competition stuff. And you would start optimizing that. Why do I bring that up? Well, because local pages, publishing a bunch of geo pages, is the same thing. It's the same kind of process where now you're targeting real low competition stuff that probably doesn't have much search volume or any search volume, but it's about building relevance from the bottom up, right? That's the whole point of doing geo pages, is you're building local relevance at a very granular level. And if you do your internal linking and everything properly, then that relevance will flow up to the higher competition stuff and help it to rank. So that's what I call a bottom-up approach, okay? That's very difficult to do when you're talking about link building, unless you're just doing bulk spam links, which I don't do any of that at all anymore, zero of it. So when you're talking about getting higher quality or placing or building higher quality links, there's an expense to that, time and or money or both, right? So there's a time and or money, right? And so it's not cost effective to build a whole bunch of links to geo pages. And oftentimes it's not necessary anyway. So what is the top-down approach? The top-down approach is the other way. In other words, the internal linking of the site is starting at the top level, the home page, and generally through just the navigation links, there's going to be at the navigation menu, there will be the top of silo pages. And then at the top of silo pages, then link down from there to its supporting pages. So if there's subcategories, then it would link down to the subcategory pages, and on each subcategory page, it would link down to the supporting posts within each subcategory. So it's the reverse, the inverse of what I just described. Instead of building from the links from the bottom up and following, like I'm talking about building internal links from the bottom up, and then starting with your link building at that lowest level, meaning building links to those posts, those supporting posts within a silo. That's the bottom-up approach. The top-down approach is the inverse of that, right? So that is building your internal linking structure from the top down, right, to where ultimately the last link flows from a silo to a supporting article within that silo, a supporting post within that silo. And then building, why have I switched to that? Well, because again, especially if you structure your site properly, you're going to have in your URLs, right, you're going to have different levels of within your silo structure. So even if you're using a simple silo, but what's the difference? A simple silo or complex silo? A simple silo is there's root domain, then there's the top of silo pages, so the top level product and service pages that you mirror a category in WordPress, taxonomies, right? Posts and categories and tags, right? That's kind of the taxonomies in WordPress. You create a category that it mirrors your top of silo pages on your money site. So in my example, I don't do this anymore, but like, I have some recent examples where I still was testing with that, but tree service is a top level term. Okay. Let's say tree trimming is a service and tree removal is a different service. They're really synonymous. They're all three of those are synonymous, but just to keep things simple, let's just use this as the example. Say that the home page is optimized for tree service. Then let's say I have two product service pages on the site, one for tree removal and one for tree trimming. Does that make sense? So a top of silo page would be tree removal. Another top of silo page would be tree trimming. Then I would go, and I'm talking about regular pages. Then I would go into categories in WordPress and create a tree trimming category, a tree removal category. Now the URL is different. We're talking about a category archive page versus a regular page, right? So domain.com/tree removal, that's the page. Domain.com/category/tree removal would be the category archive page. Do you understand? But then what you do is redirect that category URL to the actual page. Now you can go in a simple silo structure and you create supporting posts, not pages, but posts, and place them directly into that tree removal category. That's a simple silo structure because it's root domain, the first layer, first level of internal linking or internal pages are going to be top level pages with mirrored category pages that are redirected to the top level pages. It's corresponding top level page. Then you place supporting articles posts, supporting posts within the tree removal category, and all of the linking and even the taxonomy structure, the categories, because they're redirected to the page, all of that kind of flows up or within that particular silo. That's why it's called a silo, right? Silo structure, because you create a silo, a topical silo. So what I'm saying is that is a simple silo structure. Okay, so that is at the deepest level, you're two hops from the root domain, from the home page. Do you understand? So the deepest level would be supporting articles. That would be root domain /category/post. So that's the third level, right? 2 levels removed or away from the root domain, the home page. A complex silo structure is 3 levels away from the home page because it's top level page with a corresponding category page. Then there's a child subcategories with corresponding child pages, right? And then ultimately posts, supporting posts, which are 3 levels deep now, right? Because then you have root domain, first level is top category or parent category. Next level is subcategory. Those are still pages. Then when you finally get to supporting posts, blog posts, those are going to be 3 levels deep. So that's the difference between a simple silo and a complex silo. Now, I wanted to kind of educate you guys that didn't know that as to what the difference is, because if you are using a physical silo, or even if it's virtual, and what's the difference between that? Again, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to confuse you guys, but the difference between a physical silo and a virtual silo is the permalink structure in WordPress. If you can see the hierarchy in the URL, that's called a physical silo structure, meaning that's the category/post name permalink structure in WordPress. If you go into WordPress and you select custom and go to permalink, settings, permalinks, go to custom, and then you add the category. So /% category /, then %post name %/, right? So category post name. You add that as your permalink structure. And then when you look at the silo, you can see the hierarchy in the URL, right? So if you're looking at a complex silo structure with a physical silo setup, then you're going to see at the post level, you're going to see all of the categories in between. You'll see the post slug at the end of the URL, then you'll see the subcategory. Then on the other side of that /, you'll see the category, and on the other side of that /, you'll see the domain. A virtual silo, you can accomplish the exact same thing with a virtual silo. The difference is virtual silo is post name only in permalinks. And so that means you just don't see the hierarchy in the URL. It's all still there. If you go into WordPress code and taxonomies, it's all still there, but it's only displaying root domain /post name post slug, if that makes sense. But why I bring that up is because if you have for years, I did bottom up approach, and I tried to stick with simple silos as much as possible, not complex silos, because as the name implies, complex silos add complexity to the site build and management. And so I prefer to go with simple silos as much as possible. But I used to use nothing but virtual silos because I always liked a shorter URL. And I would always try to do a simple silo structure. More recently, because of all the geo page work, the local page work that I'm doing, which I've been demonstrating in the mornings, you guys can go see that shit for free at twitch.com/ or twitch.tv/Bradley Benner. But I've been building a whole bunch of geo pages. So I've switched to get back to the original question. I know I've gone a long time on this, guys, but I think this is incredibly important because I get this question a lot, by the way, about how do we power up all our geo pages, our local pages, when you have dozens and sometimes hundreds of them. It's very difficult to build links to those unless you're doing bulk spam, which I don't ever recommend. So I'm getting to a point here, and that is now I've switched to going with a top-down approach instead of a bottom-up approach. And then I'm using physical silo. And then a lot of times now I'm doing complex silos where, again, so I've shifted my entire strategy completely over the last, 6 months or so. No kidding. After years and years and years of building all my sites one way, I've completely changed and now I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing the top-down approach, and I'm using physical silo structure in the permalinks. That way there's different directories in the URL, like folders, directories, whatever you want to call them. There's different optimization points in the URL that we can push link equity and relevance to. And think about that, guys. Now think whether it's a simple silo structure or a complex silo structure, if you build it right, top down, you're going to have hub pages that are linking out to all of your sub pages, your geo pages, right? And so that's your link building target. Because if you have all of your geo pages linked to from a higher level page, right, that's higher up in the pecking order, right, the higher in the hierarchy, then you hit that page with links and it will power up, flow down, top down approach. It will flow down to all those geo pages. And therefore that's how you get much more, you can stretch your budget further that way, right? Or make your budget more effective because you're not trying to build links to a bunch of geo pages and hope that the link equity and relevance flows up. You can still do all of that. What I'm saying is I still build all the geo pages and have the geo pages linking up to wherever I'm trying to push relevance from the page. But as far as link building is what I'm talking about. Link build from at the kind of hub pages or the directory pages is what I like to call them, that are linking down if you're doing a top-down approach, which is what I recommend specifically for the reason this question was asked. How do I power up all my local pages? You do that through the money site. Through the money site on the kind of, if you build your structure right, you can power up those directory pages and it's going to power everything up below it. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to diagram this out, but if I do that, well, I won't have any time for any other questions. So anyway, hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. Let me just, I do have to pull it. I can't do that. I cannot not do this because it would bug me that I didn't give a proper answer. And I want you, because I know some of you guys probably are confused as shit. I just tried to explain everything conceptually. And sometimes with the kind of more advanced topics, it's easier just to see it, right? So if I just say domain.com/ let me zoom in on this, you guys can see it. So I'm just going to use an example. Okay. So tree search, you know what? Why not? Fuck it. Let's just show a real example. Would you guys rather just see a real example? I bet you would. All right. So here's an example that I've been doing on Twitch. So to kind of explain this here, guys. So let me just, I'll duplicate this. Hopefully you guys, is this helpful? Should I continue this or should I just start answering other questions? I'd like to hear some comments or see some comments in YouTube. Not enough people watching apparently. Never mind. I'll just do it anyway. So anyway, guys, let's take a look at this for a second. So here is what I'm talking about with directory pages, right? So here's a top level service page. Okay. So that's an optimization point right there. Do you understand? If you take a look at here, if we scroll down, you'll see down here at the bottom, I've got service area pages linked to here. So for example, we open up this one here, I want you guys to see this. I'm going to stack these URLs so that you can see these. I got a yes, continue, yes, continue. Okay, I got a few. So that's all I needed to hear. Okay. Now let's go down a little bit further. So we're on the Pennsylvania page now. And so you guys understand what I'm talking about, top-down approach versus bottom-up approach. I want you to see the linking. I'm going to go through each one of these steps in just a moment again in sequential order so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But think about link equity flowing in one direction. That's the way you want to think about it, right? So if you think about link equity flowing, again, either top down or bottom up approach for almost my entire career up until about 6 months ago, I'm not kidding. I always did the bottom up approach. Now I've completely inversed it and I'm doing the top down approach specifically because of geo pages. Okay, so let's go into a location page. In fact, let me go into another one. Let's go into this one. Okay. So you guys are seeing this now. Do you understand how we're stacking the hierarchy here? But it's flowing from the top down. All right. And we still can go one more deeper. Okay. Now, typically I do this on subdomains. This particular site, I'm waiting on Yax to, Jesper Yax to fix the token system in order to use Yax to create geo pages on a subdomain using the token system. It doesn't work the way it currently is, the way that I want it to. So I had a call with Jesper last week on Monday and told him about what it was that I was trying to do. And he said he would program that in, but it's in queue. So anyway, what I'm saying is the first two locations in Pennsylvania here, I'm waiting on Yax to do that with the geo pages on a local subdomain. These are done via tags instead. So like, for example, if I just copy this here, this is just a geo page. It's kind of a quick and kind of backhanded way that I did to create geo pages without having the subdomain pages available yet. And that's only because Yax can't do what I want it to do just yet. It will in a couple of weeks. So anyway, so just consider this tag here as a local, as a geo page, right? So this would be what you call a supporting geo page or post, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I'll put that on another line first so that it makes a little bit of sense. Okay, typically I would have this as a subdomain. So for example, just so you know, let me just go back real quick and then I'll get to a point here, guys. I've got this same kind of setup here like this. Local.fellingpro.treeservice Westchester right there. And these are going to be, and then so Westchester, let's just grab one of the neighborhoods. So we'll say Dilworth Town right there. This is actually how this will look on subdomain HTML pages once I have that built. But what I'm trying to say here is you can see that this will be the subdomain supporting page. That's again, the bottom up approach. The subdomain supporting geo page will have a link that will be linking up to the city page on the site, the money site. Do you understand? This is a subdomain. So this will be an HTML page on a subdomain for local.felling or whatever subdomain I name it. It will be on this here, and this will be an HTML page that Dilworth is a neighborhood within Westchester, Pennsylvania. So at the lowest level, that page will link up to its corresponding money site page, which is the top level city page that I want to rank. Do you understand? I don't give a shit whether this ranks or not. It will probably rank because it's probably not very competitive at all, but it's about building relevance up to the page that I do want to rank, which is this one. But getting back to the original question about link building. So let's just forget about that. That was just a backhanded way to do what I wanted to do while I'm waiting for the geo pages to, for Yax to program what I need in order for it to work. So that's coming. But what I'm saying here, guys, is if we see this now, here are different points here, right? I can build links to this page here, and it's going to power up the top level state pages. This is what you call a complex silo structure, guys. This is a top level category. This is a subcategory. This is a post. So this geo page is actually a WordPress post. Do you understand? So again, this is a complex silo structure. If it wasn't a multi-state project, if this was only for Pennsylvania, this project was only going to be for Pennsylvania, then I would omit this and instead have a simple silo structure instead of a complex silo. Simple silo is top level category supporting posts. Do you understand? So we could omit the subcategory, which is the state. So if you understand what I've done here is I've got the tree service, which is just the services page. Again, like if guys look at the title tag of this page, it's services dash brand name, right? I'm not trying to rank this page. What I'm trying to rank are these pages, the city pages, right? That's what's going to get me the leads, these pages. So, or this page, right? So what I'm saying is these are just kind of like navigational pages. But what I'm saying is, like in Pennsylvania, for example, we've only, like if I go back to the Pennsylvania page, that's this one here. So now in Pennsylvania, currently I've only got, and I got this one image that's off. I got to fix that. But currently there's only four, there's one, we're targeting one county, and all 4 cities are in that one county. Okay, they're the 4 most densely populated cities within Chester County, Pennsylvania. So this right here is a page that I can hit with topical key anchors. Well, brand anchors, always start with brand, but I could hit this with brand anchors. I could hit this with topic anchors. So tree service, tree removal, tree trimming, tree pruning, arborist, stump grinding, all that kind of shit, right? And it's going to push relevance down because the internal links are flowing from the top level down. You understand? So again, on the Pennsylvania page, I can build brand anchors, topic anchors, and it's going to flow down to the city pages that I want to rank. So then I go to the city page, and the city page, I can start hitting with brand anchors, topic anchors. So topic anchors are keyword, product and service keywords. So tree care, tree trimming, tree removal, stump grinding, arborist consulting, tree clearing, etc. And I can also start hitting this with target anchors, keyword plus location modifier. Because aren't all of these, think about this, guys, all of these areas here, these are all supporting geo pages for the Westchester city, right? So these are like neighborhood pages, basically, if that makes sense. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if I build links to the Westchester page, I can build target anchors as well. As I, again, always start with brand anchors, and then I can build some topic anchors. That's all the keywords up here that you're looking at, right? Here. And then I can build target anchors. So tree service, Westchester, tree trimming, Westchester, Westchester tree removal. And all of that is relevant even to power up these geo pages, these neighborhood pages, right? Because these are all neighborhoods within Westchester. So that's how you power all that stuff up when you, and you're really focusing your budget, your link building budget, on the pages that you want to rank this way. But it's through your internal linking that you're directing the link equity and the relevance down, all the way down, ultimately to the bottom level pages, the neighborhood pages. So again, like I said, guys, I used to always do it the other way around. I would always start with the bottom level pages, and all of my links would flow from the lowest level up to the homepage eventually. And I've completely inversed that now, 100%, 180 degrees. Now I'm doing everything this way, specifically for what I just described. We can build links here, brand, almost exclusively brand anchors there. We can build brand and topic anchors here. We can build brand and topic anchors here with some high level broad geo modifiers, which would be make those target anchors, but very sparingly at this point. Then at this point, now we talk about brand anchors, topic anchors, and target anchors. Do you understand? And then at the lowest level, which would be this level, this links up to its corresponding page, right? Again, Dilworth Town is a neighborhood within Westchester. So we link from this page, an internal link. I would call it an internal link, but if this is on a subdomain, it's not really an internal link, right? But we link up to that. Doesn't matter. The point, because that's a reciprocal. Well, again, it's not the same domain. It's a subdomain versus a domain. But the point that I'm trying to make is we're linking down from the money site page to the geo page, and then the geo page is linking back up to the money site page to push geographic relevance, if that makes sense. So anyway, hopefully that was clear. I know that was a really long way to get to an answer, but that was a really good question, because this has come up a lot recently. I've had a lot of people ask me this question. So I thought this was a good opportunity to create a clip out of this that I can then just send to people when they ask that question. So was that helpful? Very useful. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm glad. All right, guys. Hopefully that was enough. Well, I'm trying to roll through the rest of these. I've got about 10 minutes. So anyway. All right, Gordon, what's up, buddy? He says, hi, I was wondering if you created a Google site. So anyway, I just want to double check one thing. Yeah, okay. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Again, I recommend a internal linking structure from the top down now if you're going to be doing a bunch of geo pages, which is what I'm doing a lot of that work right now. It works really well. Yeah, it works well. And I found that this is just a very good strategy. And when you combine both the topically relevant links, as I've been teaching about for 15 months now, and also locally relevant links, this is where you can take those local PBN links and you can actually link to these supporting geo pages or neighborhood pages, whatever you want to call them, and that has a link up to its corresponding city page. So the local links are good for that, and they're also good at this level. Again, this is a complex silo because it's a multi-state project. If it was a single state project, I would make it a simple silo and I would eliminate this, and it would just go directly to the city. So it would be tree service / Coatesville, right? Tree service / Westchester. And that it would still be posts at this level, but it would only be one category, top level category, not parent categories and child categories, or top level categories and subcategories, right? It would just be top level category and in supporting posts. Okay. So anyway. All right, cool. All right. So Gordon says, hey, I was wondering if you created a Google site to use it as a rankerman asset, and if it was optimized and backlinked properly to warrant being on the first page of the search engine results for a business term like, say, New York roof or Dallas plumber, will Google ignore it anyway because it is not hosted on a privately owned domain, or will they still rank it at the top? Oh, it'll still rank. I mean, again, I'm just using this example here. Newburgh, Kentucky. This is the same brand. Oh, look at that. I'll be damned. So the Grim Reaper Tree Services site had been pushed out by Felling Pro for about 3 weeks. And I've done nothing. Well, I say I've done nothing. I think I ended up building one additional link back to this site. And now boom, it's back to top again, and it pushed Louisville Felling Pro down one, which is interesting. Anyway, why I brought this up, Gordon, was because right there is a G site. That's sites.google.com for Louisville Felling Pro. That's this brand here, guys, Felling Pro. If you saw at the top, I said there was two states, Kentucky and Pennsylvania. Now, the Kentucky Felling Pro site, you can see, look at that. I'm sorry. We're either going to go over, or I'm not going to get to all the questions today, but these were good. So I think this is valuable. So if you take a look at this, guys, the Louisville Felling Pro brand was built on a subdomain, a Louisville.felling.pro subdomain. So it's a different configuration. I prefer this configuration here right now. And again, I've been testing now for 6 or 8 months with different kinds of site configurations. And right now, this is my favorite configuration, as I just described here, with the supporting neighborhood pages on a subdomain that I just described. So this right here, this kind of structure here is what I prefer. However, the Louisville Felling Pro, you can see this page, the state page is on the root domain. But if we click down through, you can see that these are actually linked directly to the subdomain site. So I have a separate subdomain site hosted on Louisville subdomain.felling.pro. That is the entire site is compartmentalized for Louisville. Like the entire site is optimized for Louisville. This is a different structure. I have different pages on the site for different product or services, which I don't do that now. Again, it's not necessary in the tree service industry. All these terms are synonymous with each other. So there's no reason to have separate pages on the site. Put it all on one. But anyway, why I brought that up is because I'm just trying to show you here that if we look at this, right here is a G site from the content mirroring method, which we teach in the mastermind. This is all this is. And I don't know why the Okolona page keeps ranking for the Newburgh term. And I don't understand that. I think it's because believe it or not, I think it's because of this link right there. I bet you if I change that anchor text and get rid of Newburgh, Kentucky, and that anchor text right there, it will start ranking the Newburgh page instead of the Okolona page. It's really interesting. This is something I've not seen before, but this is a G site. It's ranking. See it? Go look at the backlink profile, guys. There's none. I'll show it to you. Pause the screen for a minute. There's no backlinks. It's ranking. Look at this. Guys, you see that? I mean, that's not a very competitive term. I get it. But what I'm saying, Gordon, to answer your question, will the G site rank? Yes, it'll rank. And the content mirroring method is very powerful. I talk about this in the mastermind. There's a full freaking training program specifically for how to do this. And it works incredibly well. 0 backlinks, no content needed. You understand? There's no content on this page. It's just iframes. The only content is the title and this link down here at the bottom. That's it. No content on this page. There's just iframes. So that's what the content mirroring method is about. And these G sites will freaking rank, man. Not only that, but it's the last layer in the content mirroring structure. So you build links to this and it just flows down through all those iframes all the way to the money site. And it makes it really hard for your competitors to figure out what the fuck you're doing, because you can rank by building links that's like 5 hops away from the money site. Literally, you hit the G site with backlinks and it's 5 layers away from the money site. So, but all that link equity and relevance flows through this structure down to the money site. And it makes it very difficult for people to figure out what the hell you're doing. And it works. So anyway, sorry guys, we're going to go over. Anyway, number 2, by the way, it used to be that if you made too many edits on a GBP listing in order to better optimize it, there was a greater risk that Google would suspend it. Is that still the case? I don't know about number or quantity of edits. It's the type of edits that you make that you got to be worried about. I've done a lot of changes recently and haven't experienced any trouble. I think the biggest thing is changing the business category, the primary category. And that's one of the things that can trigger re-verification, or changing the business name. Although I've done that recently, I didn't change the brand name significantly though. So don't. I'm always hesitate to say anything like this because people will go out and start making changes and then blame me for it. What I'm saying is I've taken the brand name. A lot of times when I have multi-location brand, we use the brand name and then we append the city name. And that's how we distinguish the difference between locations, and it squeezes a location modifier into the Google business title. That's part of the reason we do it. Recently, I started testing with removing that location modifier for multi-location brands and just changing the brand name back to just the brand name without the location modifier. And I've not had any problems with doing that, but it wasn't a significant change or alteration to the business name. It was just removing an appended location modifier, or vice versa, appending a location modifier, right, to the existing brand name. But it's really the type of edits you make, not necessarily the quantity. At least I've not heard of a quantity of edits as being a potential suspension trigger or re-verification trigger. Okay, I've not heard of that. Buffy says, hey, Bradley, if I build citations and press releases for a new site in the first month, can I build 25 PBN links to the site at once, or should I drip feed it in the second month? Thanks. I would probably drip feed it, but yeah, I would probably drip feed it. And just be careful with press releases, guys. They're not, I mean, press releases are fantastic. I use them all the time, but I do it in a very specific way. I don't like building press releases directly to a money site anymore at all. So just be careful with that. But yeah, I would drip it out. If it's a new project, don't go too aggressive. Gary says, hey guys, in my agency, I'm doing web design and find clients keep on changing things, which causes a big headache in the development process. And I often forget things, which means I forget to charge extra. Do you know of a good form template I can use to capture a brief at the start? And that way, anything that goes outside of that, I can charge for. I don't know of a good brief template. Adam might have one, but you could just create a scope of work that you get the client to sign off on before. It doesn't have to be a contract or anything like that. I don't do contracts in my business. I don't. Okay. It's month to month. If I'm performing well, you're going to pay me, period. So I don't do contracts, but have a scope of work and have everybody agree to it ahead of time, and understand that if they make changes to the original scope of work, that they're going to be billed for it. Get that in agreement right up front. I was talking to a mastermind member, or maybe it was a link building prospect or whatever. Anyways, I was on a Zoom call earlier this week, and I was talking about what called in the military, they call it missions creep, right? But in our industry, they call it scope creep. And that is where, if you give an inch, your clients will take a mile. Trust me. If you allow them to get away with, hey, can you just do this? And yeah, no problem, I'll take care of it for you. You can't do that, man. Treat your business like an attorney treats his time, right? You can't ask an attorney, for anything without them. It's billable time, at least 15-minute increments, right? If you ask an attorney anything, that's billable time, man. You might be charged 15 minutes, but that, if you're paying $300 an hour, that's $75 you just paid for 15 minutes for one fucking question, right? It might have taken 2 minutes to answer, but you're getting billed for that, right? Then you kind of got to do that with clients too, guys, because again, if clients will, and I don't know that they're doing it to be malicious. Like, I just think that they think that, oh, it's no big deal. I'll just ask them to do this, or I'll ask them to do that. And we oftentimes, because we're nice, whatever, we want to just do it. And it's probably more hassle to ask them to pay for it than it is to just do what they asked. But as soon as you do that one time, that opens the door for them to ask again and again and again. Okay. So that's why you got to be vigilant about that shit, man. Treat your time the way an attorney treats his. Don't do that, right? Get a scope of work up front and have everybody agree to it. That way, when they do ask you to do something different and you do send them a bill for it, and they come to you saying like, what is this for? You can show them, remember this agreement that we all signed on before we started the work? Yeah, that's what this is in reference. That's what this is regarding. Okay. Otherwise, guys, people will take advantage of you. Ask me how I know. That goes for, I won't say that. I'll hold that too. Steven says, how would you go about building and scaling out local directories? What selling point other than SEO would you do? And could you make money off a subscription model? Yeah, you can. I recommend, and I have a whole program, a series of SOPs on how to build a niche specific directory and use that to build up an agency in a marketing agency or SEO agency in that niche. It's not about building multiple directories. It's about building one and building authority to it so that you become a big fish in a small pond, and people seek you, people in that industry, businesses in that industry seek you out. That's what I did with Tree Care HQ. I swear to God, I don't have to prospect for tree contractors anymore. They come to me. It's because I have a directory site that ranks #1, and they submit their information and they get put into my sales pipeline. We reach out to them, and they already know that I know how to rank because they found my directory #1 in Google for tree service directory, right? So like, that's all the proof I need. When we get on sales calls now, it's like, well, how do I know you know what you're doing? Well, how did you find me? I went to Google and searched tree service directory. Okay. What other proof do you need? You know what I mean? So again, I don't recommend scaling out local directories. I mean, because I just don't do that. I prefer having a niche specific directory that you build authority to, so that you become a big fish in a small pond, and businesses in that industry will seek you out. That's the better way, in my opinion. Yeah. And by the way, you can do subscription models and all that. I don't. You can monetize the directory though. You can sell advertising space. You can sell premium listings, which could be subscription model or subscription based. There's a number of things you can do to monetize a directory site. I don't. I use it specifically to generate leads for my agency. That's it. But you can monetize a directory. There's no question. I just don't. My monetization is landing clients from it, or lead gen buyers. About half of the tree contractors I've got from my directory are actually lead buyers now, not retainer clients, if that makes sense. Sorry, guys, I'm over. If anybody's got a bounce. I'm going to finish these questions out, and then I'm going to wrap it up.
Do it.
Okay, so Greg says, aside from the listings themselves, what type of content would you publish on a directory site? Any way to automate this like an autoblog? I mean, yeah, you can automate it. There's a number of things you can do. There are WordPress plugins. CTRify has a WordPress plugin that can do that for you. Content at scale, which is super expensive. It's pretty damn powerful, but you can use content at scale to do that. But you're going to spend at least $500 a month, or I mean, that's bottom line, $500 a month. CTRify, you can do it if you buy credits for the WordPress plugin. You can automate that. But it doesn't take a lot for the directory to rank. Like it's funny because it's not even indexed yet. I did spend almost an entire day publishing one authority article for Tree Care HQ. And it's not even indexed yet. I just checked it today and it wasn't indexed yet. Excuse me. What I was trying to do is go into my directory site. Why is that not? Whatever. Let's find it this way then. Get the click through. I'm just going to show this to you guys because I just did this on Saturday this week. So I've got a blog on here. I've got it listed as services, and this article right here, I worked on this over the weekend, and I used ZimWriter for this article. So I developed an outline, and then I plugged in my H2 tags in the ZimWriter, and I published this article. It's about 4,500 words. And it took me almost an entire day to publish this one freaking article. Like, I'm not kidding. And it was because I had to create the blog page and all this stuff. But this is about a 4,500 word article about tree pruning only. That makes sense. And this is so this is an authority article on my directory site. And as I just showed you guys, again, like, I don't have to prospect for clients anymore for my tree services, because boom, I'm right there. Number one, I get all the tree service leads I need right there, or the contractor leads right there. Like, literally at very minimum, even during the winter months, I was getting 2 tree contractor leads per week, every single week, like clockwork. And now, because it's starting to pick up, it's starting to get busy again, I'm starting to see 3, 4, 5 new leads come in every single week from just being ranked. And why I bring that up is because it's just if you go take a look at my other articles on here, I ranked this site with very few articles. I just started, I'm going to be expanding this year. That's why I'm starting to add more authoritative content. But look at this content on here. It's what I've had on here until this one post that I just showed you. Very, very small. Like, what is that? Maybe 600 words tops. And I was able to rank anyway. So that's why I'm saying a niche specific directory, guys, you can rank those. And then you get a hell of a lot more traction, and you can use that as a case study to show that you know what you're doing, because you've ranked a directory. So when you're prospecting or trying to close a company in that industry, you can point to your directory as proof, right? So anyway, CTRFI has a plugin that can help you to automate some of that. I would consider, if you're going to build a directory, an authority directory in a particular industry, is spend some time on the content. Like, you don't need a lot. You just want to be, you want full topic coverage for that industry. That's what you want to do, is make sure you have in-depth articles that you cover all the main products or services for that industry. Okay. Hey guys, I have a nice domain I found in the IT space and thinking of doing a rank and rent setup for businesses on IT services. What model do you think would work best? Flat rate to a provider, or monthly retainer or percentage of sale? Percentage of sale is my favorite, but that requires a whole lot of additional kind of infrastructure, because you have to have, first of all, a trusting relationship. You have to also be able to verify whether they actually made a sale or not. So I do that with my own lead gen business, guys. Revenue share is what I call that. That's my favorite way to monetize lead gen assets with tree service contractors. But there are a lot of drawbacks with revenue share that you have to be aware of. And I don't have enough time to get into all of them now, because we're already way over, and I'm going to try to get through the rest of these questions. But what I would say is start with just a rank and rent model up front. If you're just getting started, guys, start with rank and rent, because it's the easiest thing to manage. You just charge a flat monthly fee to rent the assets to whoever their service provider is. Okay. Once you get a little bit more advanced, then pay per lead is a way that you can do it. If you have proper tracking in place and all that kind of stuff, you can do pay per lead. Generally, you can generate more revenue from it than you can on a rank and rent model that way. Plus, it's more incentive for you to generate more leads. But a revenue share model is my favorite. But remember, with revenue share model, you also have to make sure that the company that you're doing a revenue share model with is able to close sales. Because if you're charging a flat monthly fee for rank and rent, then it doesn't matter whether they close the sale or not. Your job is just to keep the properties ranked so that they're generating leads. No matter how many leads they generate and whether the company can close them or not, it doesn't matter. Your job is just to keep those properties ranked. With pay per lead, your job is to generate the phone call or the form submission. That's it. Your job is not to close the sale. As soon as that call is generated or that form has been submitted, you've got a billable lead. The contractor or the company, they can have a shit sales process and no follow-up whatsoever, and they can close absolutely 0% of the leads that you send to them. And then what are they going to do? They're going to complain and tell you that your leads suck. Is it your leads, or is it that they have a shitty follow-up system and no follow-up system and a shitty salesperson? It's probably the latter, right? It's probably that they have no follow-up system and a shitty salesperson. And therefore you generate the lead, but they complain because they say that you got shitty leads when it's just that they have shitty processes. Do you understand? So, with pay per lead, it doesn't really matter whether they close or not, because you have a billable lead once you've generated the lead, the phone call or form fill. But with revenue share, so I'm just letting you know, be aware that you will, if they don't have a good process for closing sales, for following up and in closing sales, then you will probably try. How do I know this? Because I've dealt with tree contractors for years, and that's what they'll do. But on the revenue share model, you got to be careful, because now you're only getting paid when they close a sale. So if you're going to do revenue share model, you better get involved with their follow-up and sales process to make sure that they have a good system in place, because otherwise you're killing yourself. Because if you're sending leads to a company that has a shitty follow-up and or no follow-up system, or a poor follow-up system, and poor closing rates, then you're not getting paid, even though you're doing your job, which is to generate the lead. Do you understand? So if you're going to do revenue share model, it's in your best interest to make sure that you get involved with their nurturing, follow-up sequences and their sales team to make sure that they can close all that stuff and help them to become a business advisor instead of just a lead generator. You understand? And that's what I do with my tree service contractors that I do revenue share with. I force them to use high level, the sub account. I create a sub account in high level. I call it my tree management app, tree lead management. And I force them to use that, and I force them to subscribe too. I only charge them $100 a month, but I charge them $100 a month to use my app, which is just high level. It's a sub account that I created with the snapshot specifically for tree service contractors. I charge them $100 a month and force them to use that if we're going to be on a revenue share model. That way, every single lead that comes through is tracked, and there's automated follow-ups through the high level app with automated appointment reminders. So estimate and job schedule job reminders to the customer. It automatically reminds the contractor of when jobs are coming up, or scheduled estimates are coming, all of that. So there's ways to do revenue share model, but remember, you have to be involved with the company and make sure that they have a good follow-up and sales process, or else you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay. Hey guys, God damn it, 4 minutes. And if I'm not done in 4 minutes, I'm killing it anyways, guys. Hey guys, how would you suggest getting some local SEO and link building clients? I feel like most local businesses here in the UK see SEO and marketing as just another expense and hesitant to invest any money, wondering how you're finding things with agency and how you overcame this. Again, go into a particular industry and become a big fish in that industry. That's the easiest way. Because then instead of chasing down leads, which is push marketing, outbound marketing, where you're forcing yourself onto other companies, trying to get them to talk to you, that's what outbound marketing is. Don't get me wrong. When you get started, that's what you got to do. Outbound prospecting, push marketing. Inbound prospecting or pull marketing, where you attract your ideal client to you. Back to what I was talking about with the directory. And you were asking, how do you get local SEO or link building clients? Well, specialize, go into a particular industry, build a directory for that type of an industry. And industry is too broad. Guys, look, I'm going to do, Adam, can you create a share link? I thought I did it, but I don't know if it's right or not, for selecting a niche industry in Circle, this course, if you're still here.
Yeah, one sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But we can give that away for free. But that is an entire SOP or training program, very, very thorough about how to select a niche in an industry, and more specifically a sub niche within an industry. Sorry, guys, I'm on the wrong screen. Very, very thorough course. We'll give you access to that for free. But what I would suggest is picking a particular industry and then working in building a brand in that industry for yourself, right? That then again build a directory around it. Start building lead gen assets in that particular that industry, right? Even if you can't get a Google business profile, because I'm avoiding those at all costs right now, unless it's a client's Google business profile that can be verified and re-verified if needed. I'm not doing spam GMB stuff at all right now, or Google business stuff at all, period, except for existing assets that I had. So go with organic stuff. Start building organic assets in a particular industry. Build a brand. Become a big fish in a small pond. Right? And then you'll have your local SEO clients coming to you, seeking you out, instead of you trying to force yourself on them. Right? It changes the dynamic entirely, guys. When they seek you out first and say that they want information, or they submit their information to your directory, they're saying, hey, I know how important it is to get my company listed online. They're telling you that by registering for your directory. Right? So you already know that you got somebody that understands on the other side, that understands the importance of marketing online. And so it just changes the dynamic entirely. It's so much easier to close a sale when they're the ones that initiate the contact, right? Than it is if you initiate the contact first. If you initiate the contact first you got to sell them on the reason why they need SEO to begin with. Then you have to sell them on you as being the solution. So you got to make 2 sales. But when it's an inbound lead, you only have to make 1 sale because they already know that they should be marketing, which is why they reached out to begin with. So you don't have to sell them on that. All you have to do is convince them that you're the solution. Okay.
Cool. Got the link. Gonna pop that in chat.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll put that in the replay too. So yeah, in chat, guys, there will be a link to that selecting a niche industry training course that I put together. It's very thorough. I would encourage you to go through that. Select a niche and go hard on that niche, guys. That's how you get serious traction right now, in my opinion. Roger posted his name in his question box and his question in the name box. So confused me a little bit, but I have an affiliate article. I'm trying to rank and feel like OnPage is maxed out. I've done internal linking, some topical links, niche edits, and other quality links, as well as supporting content with backlinks to their own. Been very careful with anchors. I have over a month gone from page 8 to page 2, but feel stuck for weeks. What is the quickest, powerful way for best bang for buck I can do to push to page 1? Probably CTR manipulation. If you're talking about purely links, thinking a press release or PBNs to Google site or another buffer site, but not sure. Yeah, I mean, again, I would say probably some CTR manipulation. And by the way, you can do that with Google Ads. You can buy real traffic from Google from the Google Display Network for very, very cheap. And it's real people. And if you set your targeting, they're real Google users. And if you set your audience or segment targeting, right, you create a custom segment. You can even put all the keywords and stuff in that somebody that would be interested in the topic that you're trying to promote would be searching for, and you can get the clicks that you point from the display ads to your page, the article, the affiliate article that you're trying to rank. You can buy clicks from Google users that have an affinity or an interest in that particular topic. Do you understand? So those clicks are weighted incredibly heavy. You can go use CTR tools and try to spam that and spoof that, and it will likely work. Or you can go spend a few bucks and buy real Google user traffic that Google has defined are already interested in that particular topic. So those clicks are significantly weighted significantly heavier, than CTR spam bot clicks. So that's what I would do. Before additional links, I would probably do some CTR stuff because you might not need any additional links. Okay. Steven says, how will AI change local SEO strategies? I don't know, other than for content right now. And also, I just bought 2 different AI chat apps. One from Zappy Chat, which is high-level pro tools that integrates with ChatGPT. It's a high-level tool. So I can put chat widgets onto my lead gen sites or my client sites to book appointments using ChatGPT, because ChatGPT integrates with the calendar, and it can book appointments. It can go reference the calendar and determine where opening slots are, and like ChatGPT can actually book appointments on your clients' calendars. It's crazy. And so I bought the Zappy Chat high-level Pro Tools AI add-on for $1,000. I bought it. It was a lifetime deal, but it was only for like 12 hours a couple of days ago. And then I also bought Dan Wardrobe from Flex, the lead gen guy. He had what they call AI Android sales bot for $300 that he just sold. And I bought both of them in the last week. I haven't implemented either of them yet, but I think right now it's mainly content. And also I think AI chat widgets are going to become pretty powerful for local businesses. Shit, I said I was going to end it and I didn't. Armand says, howdy, Doody, had a rank and rank question for you. Have an asset rented out. It's $1K a month. It's kind of seasonal, so leads were slow during the winter. Now it's already hit 50 leads this month. Nice. It's mid-tickets, so pretty good profile, good profit for the client, I'd like to increase the price to $1,500 a month. How would you go about doing that? I don't know. I guess I would structure that with, because I'm in a seasonal business too, tree service industry. In the winter, things slow down, so lead gen stuff slows down. That's why I generally like to do revenue share or pay per lead over rank and rent, because tree service contractors don't like to pay their rental fees during the winter when the call volume's low. So that's why I prefer in the tree service industry, pay per lead or revenue share. Okay. But if I was going to do that, I would probably make it known right up front in the initial agreement. Hey, during the winter months, we're going to reduce the monthly retainer or monthly rental fee. In the spring, we're going to increase it from $500 a month to $1,000 a month for the first 2 months of spring or whatever. I'm just in the tree service industry. Spring, it starts to ramp up. Then from summer until about the beginning of fall, it's super heavy, high volume and call leads. And then in the fall, it starts to slow down. And in the winter, it almost stops entirely. So what I would do is ramp up and then ramp back down. That's what I would probably do. Like I said, I've kind of shifted my lead gen model away from that specifically for that reason. But you could just make it in the agreement up front. It's hard to go back later and try to charge more if you didn't initially propose that. You can still do it. And if they don't like it, fuck it, find somebody else, you know what I mean, to rent it. But then be honest about it up front, set the stage up front, $500 a month during the slow season. Then during the, ramp up season and the slow down season, it's $1,000. And then during the busy season, it's $1,500 a month. It's probably what I would do. Last one, guys. And I can't even get to comments in YouTube today. I'm sorry. Does Google still rank with spam backlinks? Do Google site? Yeah, they can. In the last Hangout videos, you suggested blog posts as a platform for demonstrating ranking SEO ranking expertise. And I've tried, and some Google sites actually never rank, while some rank even without backlinks. Yeah, I see the same thing. It happens. So what happens if you find a Google site that doesn't rank? Sometimes just changing the Google site to a different, just creating a new one. Even I know it sucks, especially if you build a bunch of links to it, but sometimes just creating a different Google site, it will rank. I know what you mean. Google sites are finicky. Sometimes they'll rank with no links, and sometimes no matter what you do, they won't rank. And sometimes they're hard to index. I really don't understand it, but I still use them in every project. Sometimes we get lucky and we see how they rank, like I just described with Spelling Pro earlier today. But yeah, sometimes they're just a pain in the ass. Do you also see cases where gsite's ranking are unstable? Yes. I don't do any kind of spam links, guys, and I don't recommend it. You can still do it and it still works, but I don't recommend it. I've been saying that for a year and a half. So yeah, can you do it? Yes. Do I recommend it? No. Okay, guys, sorry about being way over. I really apologize. We almost went 90 minutes today. So thanks everybody for being here.